Hello everyone. In this video I'm going to show you how I delete listings. Okay, so it starts by deleting the listings from eBay. Some people will go and delete the listing from eBay and then spend time finding it in SkuGrid. I really encourage you not to do that unless you're only talking about deleting like 10 or 20 listings. Because keep in mind, we have listings on eBay, but then we also have listings in our repricer. You might use a different repricer, but in my case, I use SkuGrid. So once I delete an item from eBay, I'm still paying for that item on SkuGrid. And it's checking the item stock, but the item's not for sale on my eBay account, so that's pointless. So I have to both delete them from eBay and delete them from SkuGrid. The trick is that it's really kind of very tedious to delete things one by one from SkuGrid, especially because I delete hundreds and thousands of listings at a time, okay? So in this video, I'm just going to show you how I delete things from eBay. And then what I do is I just compare my eBay database with my SkuGrid database, and that deletes everything on SkuGrid that isn't also on eBay. So that process takes the same amount of time no matter how many listings I deleted off eBay. It takes the same amount of time to compare the databases if there's 100 items for sale on eBay and 150 on SkuGrid, as it does if there's 10,000 for sale on eBay and 30,000 on SkuGrid. It's the same thing using Microsoft Excel. So I'll show you that next, but for now, we're going to talk about how I delete items on eBay. So the best way that I found to do this is using this program called Fees Delister. And what Fees Delister does is it allows you to delete items based on whether they have produced a sale or not. Because you don't want to delete items that have produced a sale. You do want to delete items that have never produced a sale, right? So right off the bat, just so you know, I have 80,000 items. This program can only load 25,000 at a time. So it's a little bit inconvenient for me, but for most of you guys, it's not going to matter because you're going to have less than 25,000 listings, right? So what it does, it's very simple. You see all these colorful buttons here? We have delete wasn't sold for 5 days, delete wasn't sold for 7 days, delete wasn't sold for 14, 29, 59, 89, 179, and 379. So what this means is if I click, let's see, the button I usually do is 179. So if I click this, it's going to go okay. And I don't have anything in this list that is old enough to be deleted when I click that button. But if I click this button, we're going to click OK. And look, 126 items scheduled for deletion. So what this does, every time you click one of these buttons, it queues 200 items to get deleted from your eBay account. If you click delete wasn't sold for 29 days, it will find any listing that is older than 29 days. It will then check to see if the listing has produced a sale. And if the listing has not produced a sale, it will delete it. So this is a really, really quick way to delete listings on eBay. Literally, I could click, 200, 400, 600, 800, 1,000. That's the amount of time it takes to delete 1,000 items. Obviously, none of mine actually got deleted there because I don't have anything that is over 90 days old at this point that hasn't produced a sale. Because most of my items are quite recent now. Well, they're like 30, 45 days. So if I clicked like delete wasn't sold for 59 days, then it's going to delete 200 items. See? 200 items scheduled for deletion. And I know I just deleted 200 items. In my mentality, it doesn't really matter. I have so many items, I can just play with them. So I understand, like, to some optimizers, they'd be like, what did you just do? Why did you do that? So don't worry about it. It's fine. But that being said, this is my favorite program because I love programs that are just simple and do a specific task very well. And Fees Delister is a good example of that. This is something that you can use regardless of what kind of method you have. Like in my bulk drop shipping method, this works super, super well because I can delete lots and lots of things, right, really quickly. But if you're an optimizer, then it also works really well because it just gives you the ability to trim your items that aren't performing. So based on your personal preference, you might want to delete items that don't produce a sale within 30 days, or maybe 90 days, or maybe a year. It really depends on what you believe, because a lot of people are going to tell you different things. I've had eBay reps tell me that if something hasn't produced a sale in 90 days, then it's probably not worth having on eBay. But with bulk, I get sales from items that were posted over 90 days ago, so it's hard to tell, right? It's all about learning and figuring out what works best for you and what you are most comfortable with, all right? So now we know how I delete items off of eBay, but now we need to get into the more complicated part, which is how to delete them off of SkuGrid so we're not paying our repricer to check items that aren't even for sale anymore, right? So I will show you guys that in the next video. Ciao.